Welcome, everyone, to the Addictstruth podcast. My name is Recovery Jon. Today we have Danielle here. I'm very excited to talk about a new topic, a new addiction, and her story that is amazing. I've got to know Danielle for a good amount of years now, and I'm excited. So we're happy to have you here today.
Hello.
How's everything going?
It's going well.
Good.
Yes.
So let's start before we get into the addiction and story part of that. Let's start with just like where you're from, what your childhood looked like.
From good old New Milford, New Mildew. My dad lives there, and then we moved in like 2005 to Florida. So back and forth, separate parents. So both lifestyles. Yeah.
And you have brothers, sisters?
I have an older brother. He lives in France, and then I have a sister from the same mom, and then I have a younger sister also.
All right. So before we get into what your story looked like later on in trials and tribulations, what did you look like as a kid? Like, what kind of kid were you? Were you high energy?
Super
angry?
high energy, on the Adderall at probably age 8 because they couldn't tame me. Yeah, for the most part, into sports. Basketball was my life. My dad was my coach. Just always active, always outside doing things. Nothing super normal. Upraising, boats, jet skis, doing all the things families do. And then, then one day things change.
All right. So I usually see in a lot of stories that like, there is kind of like that pivot moment. I've talked about on here, like it was watching a friend's dad die in front of me at like 12. Some people it's divorce, some people it's all types of things. But I like for people to say what you said because it shows kind of like you're not that person even as a kid. At some point, things changed. For you, what was that moment, or where did things start to begin to change from the kid of Danielle to battling?
Probably moving to Florida. It was just like an up and let's go. It was either like build an addition on the house here in Connecticut or move. And then my mom was very eager to move, but it was all like a background plan for her to divorce my dad. So we moved there as a family, and then 6 months later, it was done. So I think I didn't know who my dad was at the time of why my mom wanted to divorce him. He was kind of a little bit controlling and narcissistic and things like that. So I learned that later on in my life. So I respect my mom now, obviously, from the choice she made. But then I was very upset and pissed and angry at, like, why are you breaking up a family? It's a beautiful family, da-da-da. So I was mad at my mom for a lot of years, but now I get it.
Now you get it. But you didn't see that. You kind of didn't see that coming.
No one did. No, it was very private. I was actually here. I went to this Christian camp every summer, and my dad actually would work here still, but we lived there, and he would drove to go get me, came back, and when we came back, that was it. The, cops at the house ready to tell my dad never to come back, things like that, and then just, that was it. It was just like, done.
So must have been hard as a kid just to like not be ready for that, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was more of like a daddy's girl growing up, and then my sister was more mom. And then I think the roles were reversed once I got way older and understood why things happened they were. So.
Yeah. So how long after that until you kind of like started to see some kind of like red flags?
I think it was definitely stress related. Obviously moving, like the first situation obviously happened in Connecticut. I always had like, cute tiny little friends my whole life. I'm like 5'11", so I'm naturally tall and built differently than other people, but I didn't understand that. So I remember I used to wear basketball shorts and a hoodie every day to school, like even 3rd grade, 4th grade, whatever. And then I slept at one of my friend's house, and she was like, you have to put these shorts on. And they were like short little shorts. And I remember going to school, intermediate school, and all the boys already made fun of me. Why is Danielle wearing that? Like, she's the tomboy. She shouldn't dress like that, blah, blah. So then that was like, okay. But that like at a young age, that like triggered me to be like, okay, I can't dress like that. So let me dress like this. Like, oversized clothes and just feel more comfortable in my skin. So then fast forward to when I moved to Florida, obviously, everyone doesn't look exactly the same, but like you can see the transition of like my 7th grade picture to my 8th grade picture. Like brows are plucked, hair is blonde, full face of makeup. And in 8th grade, I'm like, what the heck am I doing? You know what I mean? Like I was fine. But then, and you can also see the transition of like weight gain in each year after that. So
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for that as a guy because I don't deal with that. But, speaking to women and having cousins that are girls and stuff, it's guys and girls deal with different things. But I try to always see the other side and have a lot of empathy just for that. Like, I mean, guys too, you want to be strong and stuff like that. Like, but I think like even the dressing, like takes guys 5 minutes, takes girls a couple hours. They have makeup, they have clothes, they have jewelry. Like, so I always think I just saw that early on as a kid and I'm very self-aware. I was just like, oh, it's a whole different lifestyle. It's different pressures, different, kind of like limits you're supposed to hit and things you're supposed to do just to go out. Or I could just throw on a hoodie and be like,
be
I'm
done.
out. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's so important because I know so many people that have had kind of the same story. So this is going to help a lot of people. At what point I know hearing it from other people that you couldn't wear that must have hurt and must have like made you feel like, all right, I'm not going to wear those clothes anymore. But,
Yeah. It was just more of an insecurity of like, okay, I shouldn't dress like this because I don't look like, a tiny little person, like
short.
I matured later in life. I was always tall, but I didn't mature until way later, probably like 9th grade. And then, as I was maturing, I also was gaining weight. So it was like counteractive of like, I can't change the style. Like everyone in high school, like I always wore sweatpants. So, and that was like another thing is when I came back here one year to do back to school shopping with my dad. He was like, we were at Bob's and I was shopping for sweatpants in the men's department. And at like a young age, he was like, I want grandkids later on in life. You can't be dressing like this. So I couldn't buy those clothes because he didn't want me to dress like that. Because he didn't want, I don't know, like I'm a girl and I'm his girl. So he didn't want me to dress like a boy. But it wasn't me dressing like a boy. It was just comfortable because I covered up.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And when did the weight gain starting, was that kind of food addiction or that was just maturing, like growing into a person?
Yeah, we weren't really raised to eat to go unless we were traveling. Like if we were going on vacation, then that would be our treat, going to McDonald's and things like that. So when I first got access to, a car, I was like, wow. And then my first job. So probably like 15, you can have your license in Florida. So by 15, I was going to McDonald's, going to Wendy's, and then obviously at age 15, that's when I started, smoking weed and just, we already know how that treats you. So I was just overindulging with smoking and eating but I was a closet eater. So like no one could be home. No one could watch me eat. And I would like sit there or open the pantry and just eat like a row of Oreos just standing there. You know what I mean? Like it was just stress related. So, and it was a good outlet.
So that was like the main coping was the food.
Eating. Yeah, it was a control factor.
That's amazing. And was there any points when that started and say like weight gain or stuff like that, or even if someone saw it, did the family try to intervene at any point, or when was that if they did, or was it just you knew it was kind of like?
I definitely knew. I knew I was gaining weight, but I also was like, it's fine. Later, after probably, I don't know exactly. My dad was very hard on the weight. Like, why do you look like this? Like, you got to go to the gym. You got to take care of yourself. I mean, like, we took fish oil growing up. Like, he wasn't, he's downstairs doing P90X. My mom, too. Like, it was like that kind of thing. But it's like we couldn't look a certain way. He would, like, be bothered by it. My mom, she was more graceful with it. She was like, come on. And then, grandparents, like, they haven't seen you since Christmas. And then, they start chattering and then they chat to the uncles and, aunts and then gets back to my mom and then my mom tells me and I was like, is it that serious? Is it like that important that I need to, look like this? So, yeah.
I'll never forget. I had my dad's mom, like, God rest her soul, my grandma. One time I was sitting with my cousin, and like I don't even like for her, I don't even think it was food. I think she just like was a woman, like growing and putting on a little weight, getting puberty. And my grandma was like this like Irish woman from the city, and she looked at her and she was like pinched her, and she was like, "Oh boy, that college weight's coming on early, huh?" And I was like, "Damn, grandma, you can't say that to girls." Like,
No, yeah.
but I relate, and I could see how like that one comment from her. She's a nice grandma. She didn't realize it, but like could make a long lasting effect on that
I
girl.
mean, grandparents, they're old. So,
They don't
they
know
live in a
more.
different time than us of like,
Yeah.
you had to look, thin and petite. But yeah, that's really what I think. Just the starting point comments. Then it started being like, so I didn't lose weight until after high school. I was more obsessively eating during high school. And I remember one guy senior year was like, you definitely gained weight over the summer. Like, and I'm like, these people just like, I mean, it is what it is. But like, really? You just are gonna outright just say it? But those are the comments, like, you can see that, like, little comments along the way, everyone, it just like, it impacts you. Like, people push away trauma, but it's there.
Well, absolutely. Yeah. What do you for someone that's watching that wonders if they struggle? Because people ask me a lot with my addictions. Where would you say the line is, or what are the signs, or what are reasons? Like if you're eating for this reason, or if you're eating this amount, how would someone with that? Because I mean, with alcohol, it's pretty obvious. Well, it's not even obvious. Some people don't know they're really living in alcoholism.
I mean, I have plenty of friends that we used to like bond over eating. Like, oh, I'm binging today, but in like 2 days, I'm going to starve myself for like 3 days. So it's definitely, I mean, recently I just met a gentleman that has body dysmorphia for sure. And I think that's like the biggest thing I could say I have. But listening to him talk, I was like, oh, okay. Like now that I know it's normal, but guys don't talk about it because like you said, you could just throw a hoodie on and be like comfortable and like, oh, your pants will fit in a couple weeks or something like that. But no, me and my friends, I mean, a few of them, but we used to like love being like, here doing this, binge eating, and then, oh, I feel sick, or, oh, I have to throw up, or things like that. I never got to the point, that was the whole control factor, is I never wanted to throw up. I just wanted to get so sick that I controlled it enough where I wouldn't throw up. So, yeah.
I think that's huge. Is like you hear that a lot too. That's a good question and topic to talk about. Is like it's kind of a culture in women.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can't. Like they say it to me like, oh, I can't eat because I have to look good tomorrow. And I'm just like, that's actually not funny.
I'm going to Miami. I got to starve myself, things like that. And like, it's very normal. It's super normal. And unfortunately, it's so normal that the new generation of kids now, they're obsessed with it. They're obsessed with the image of what you look like and things like that. So I'm definitely blessed that I got rid of that feeling in my 20s, but it definitely wasted my 20s being obsessed with food. Fear of food would be the best point of view on that one. Fear of food.
Yeah, because it saddens me when I think you could see anyone like yourself, it's like beautiful girls, and they're just like, oh man, I need to lose weight, or I can't go away, or this and then it's like, damn, like probably every guy, and that's what dysmorphia is. Like every guy thinks you're beautiful, you are beautiful, you should, no matter what you look like.
They're lies.
Yes, skinny or not, you shouldn't. You know what I mean? That like, people are beautiful in themselves, and it's like this whole motto of like you should look like the whole Barbie mentality. Like, you should look like that.
No one looks like that. Yeah, absolutely. But that was like, growing up in Florida, the beach is the thing to do. So then as I gained weight, I was like, oh no, I can't go to the beach. So I would, I knew my friends would never, well, they would always invite me, but I would never go. I'd make up some excuse, some reason, things like that. So, and they would always be like, you look fine. You look fine. So later on, when I started losing the weight after high school, and I saw the difference of like photos, I was like, these people are liars. Like, they told me I looked fine. They told me I looked like great. And now I'm like if I show you the picture, you're like, what the heck? Like, no, they were just comforting to my habit. So I beef with them for a little. They don't know that though. But I was
now they're going to know.
Now they know.
No, I think it's because it is an awkward thing. You never want someone to feel uncomfortable. Like, I push friends now, but for me, the gym or like any type of like being healthy is just mostly mental health and physical health. You know what I mean? I try to tell people that, like, for me, I mean, feeling like you look good is a good thing. I think I probably have some body dysmorphia. There's people like, you look so good, and I'm like, I could tell you, like, I want to gain a little weight, I want to gain a little muscle. I don't
You're
think
like, where?
yeah. I'm like, how? Like, what? Like, so I think that is important, but I think, and I think even in myself, I don't know if it's like comforting in a food addiction way, or it's like I'm such an addict, it's like more of a dopamine hit. But I'm big, like we've talked about it here before, like ice cream at night. Like since I got sober, that's like a big thing for me.
Couldn't be me. Ice cream was not my cup of tea. No.
Damn, I could
Fries.
eat so much ice cream. It could be like like oxygen.
Okay.
It's bad. But I mean, I don't. But yeah, no. So I could relate in different ways. But you say then you lost the weight. So was it losing weight in a healthy way?
Absolutely not.
No. Okay.
Absolutely not. No. I got like, I don't know. After high school, I think it was less stressful going to high school and putting on that persona of like you have to be someone you're not. Usually everyone like goes and does different things and you're like, I didn't know you were interested in that. So I don't know. It started, I moved back to Connecticut in 2012, so graduated in 11. But that first like 6 months before I moved back, I lost immediately 30 pounds before I hit the plateau. Like, and I wasn't doing anything different, but I would wake up, weigh myself immediately. If I gained a pound from the day before, can't eat, not allowed. Like, it was a game. I literally played a manipulating game with myself for like 8 years of doing that. And so in the beginning, people used to be like, oh my gosh, you look so good, you're losing weight. And like a compliment, it would either piss me off because I would be agitated that people lied to me of like, I look a certain way, or it would motivate me to starve myself for a couple more days and then lose weight. And then that's when the flow got going and I became real good at it.
How much weight do you think you lost in total at that time?
Overall?
Or from like your
So I was
biggest lowest?
264 in high school. So 5'11", it weighs well. The lowest I got, and that was in 2020, before COVID, because then I started gaining weight again after COVID. I was 176.
Wow, it's like 90 pounds.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Was there any health effects from that? Or no?
Mentally. I mean, I did all of it to myself, like self-inflicted. So, but when I moved here, it was like a fresh start. No one knows like your story. You can start over. And like, I hit a little rough patch in my life, which is why I moved here. But back here, and I don't know, it just, I guess also hanging around the wrong people definitely gets you, like, I wasn't hanging out with people that were like, oh, you're so pretty. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you look so good. You're fine. It was just more of like, do what you want. And then that's not really like encouraging. So it wasn't really helping.
Yeah, and I noticed like it's, even as a guy, there's pressures to like, I don't like to comment because like you say, oh, you look good. You don't know like someone may be struggling like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, that would piss me off so bad.
Yeah, or you don't want to say the other thing. Like,
yeah, no, I hated compliments for years. Like anytime someone would compliment me, I would be like, you're pissing me off. Like, I don't want to hear it. And then sometimes a compliment would make me not eat for days or go binge for a couple days. So it was like a hit or miss. But it wasn't like, what to say or not to say. It was just like how my thought process worked.
Yeah, because I know I was raised very old school, like being a gentleman. So I'll be on a date with I'm not always a gentleman, but be on a date with someone and like you really think the girl's pretty. You want to tell her like you look pretty. Like my dad raised me that way. Like, treat your mom like a princess. And you can almost tell sometimes that a girl like didn't want to hear that. And I kind of feel like
they could have been before that date screaming at themselves, changing 95 times, disappointed, wanting to cancel. It's just like, yeah. But like, you guys don't think like that.
No, now I do. Now I just try not to say it much. Now, I'm like, I'm going to get myself in trouble.
For sure.
But I think it's good. That's why I was so excited for this podcast. Because like, even beyond addiction, just such a conversation to have for men, for women, for younger people, And I think I want to know what is something positive you try to put into relationships now with your girlfriends.
Positive.
So like you said, it used to be like, oh, let's not eat, let's binge.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it would be fun. It would. I
Yeah,
don't know. Like I'm laughing, but yeah, we would be like,
I get it.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
it would be fun. I think we're all pretty good right now. I think we all grew, and got to where we wanted to be in life. But I think it's just something you outgrow. Some people don't outgrow it, but I think just growing in your mentality is definitely a big role in maturing as a person. Definitely. I mean, I haven't smoked weed in 2 years, but after I stopped smoking weed, it also, like, I had to come to terms with food, sober. And I'm like, because I would never eat without smoking weed. Like, if I couldn't smoke weed, I'm not eating. And it was like, I would register it. I was always afraid of getting sick. Like, am I going to get food poisoning? Am I going to throw up? So I always had to smoke weed before I ate. So, and then after I got sober, I don't know. I went months trying to piggyback on, okay, if I do this or eat this, but you can't have the same habits when you changed some habits. Like you have to start a whole new thing. Like I was trying to go back and lose weight how I used to, but the key chunk of it I'm not doing anymore. So I was trying to figure it out. So
That's what I was curious about because I know how, I mean, I smoke, I know how it gets you hungry and amplifies your appetite. So I was wondering, like,
boost your metabolism.
yeah. So how do you, when you stopped, like, was there any tools you can give people or battles you struggled without the no appetite? I know there's like side effects when you stop smoking.
No, I mean, I think everyone's different. I think you have to go about it how you want to go about it. But for the most part, I mean, things worked for me, but they also didn't work. So I'm not the best to be like, this is what worked best for me. You should do it. I think you should get sober and figure out your body and your style. Could be going to the gym. Do I love going to the gym? Absolutely not. It's not my thing. I'd rather go play a game of basketball, outside activities, hikes, things like that. But like, you gotta move your body. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the biggest way. And you can't be depressed about not looking like this person or that person. Like, you are your own person for sure. So
I think loving yourself is such an interesting journey.
yeah, but you know that's hard.
It is hard. No, I think
That's hard
amazing topic.
overall.
Like even sobriety, I've had to like, I'm a new person basically. So it's like I have to learn how to love myself. And like people stop me sometimes. I talked about this on the last one. They'll be like, oh my gosh, like you're amazing, your book or this or that. And I'm like, I should feel that more inside probably. I'm also like try to be humble, but like,
right.
Yeah, it's like, to become proud of yourself no matter what you do, what you've overcome, to be happy with your body. I think it's important.
I definitely, yeah. It's a big thing. I mean, I've ruined plenty of relationships with my food problems. So
how did that come into your relationships?
It was horrible. That's how one ended completely because it's very lame, but I was very annoyed. It was, we were dating, whatever, and I was always so mad when I don't know, the way I would think about eating is if someone was like, oh, let's go get Italian tonight, I literally have to look at the menu, visualize the items, see if any of them could make me sick. I kind of am like tasting it in my mouth, and then I can eat it. If I can't get past that step, I'm not ordering it. So my ex ordered sushi, and he put me on to sushi, and ginger salad. Okay. He poured the ginger dressing on my salad, and I lost it because I couldn't eat the salad with the ginger dressing. And then it ruined my whole appetite, which is probably where we can steer into the self-harm off of that one. So, I tried to control my weight, and if I overate or gained a pound, I would do a sensation of burning myself, and it would calm me down and it would bring me back. But then I would go so after he poured the ginger dressing on my salad, I went upstairs and burned myself just on my leg, on my arm, just like even like a 10-second sensation. It's just like a high, you know what I mean? It's just like it felt good and it got me like relaxed enough where I would be like, okay, I'm good. I'm back. It's fine. Eat the salad. Like the salad is fine. Just eat the salad. And then I would eat the salad.
What was it about the salad? Like the taste would make you nauseous?
I don't know.
Or
Like
a mental thing. Like
it's a mental thing. Like it's either I didn't do it, like I didn't prepare it, I don't know what was in it, like he mixed it. It was a control thing. It was like literally a control thing of like, you know, like don't make my burger, or don't make my hot dog, like I'll make it. Like I need to know. Like I need to like physically be touching it and do it. I don't know. It was weird. I was so mad, but yeah, shortly after that, he was like, I can't deal with your eating issues along with your anger.
That's interesting because I dealt with something like that this summer. I've never dealt with anything like that, and I had an incident after the concussion. I had like anxiety I never had. I think my brain was I was dealing with post-concussion syndrome, and just dealing with things I never dealt with in my life, and it was weird in sobriety, and especially when everything's going good. I was really struggling with like everything's going good, but now I'm battling this weird thing, and I had a night where I was home alone. My ex was working. I was late at night, wasn't paying attention, ate a bagel fast after like doing all this work stuff. And I was like, I could eat something before bed. And I ate it and almost choked. And then thought I was choking and threw myself into a panic attack.
Oh, absolutely.
And then for the months after, because I realized it hit me, I was like, wait, who do I say to help me? I'm home alone, it's midnight. And I live in a condo.
The mind is a powerful thing.
Oh, for the next couple months, I had trouble eating. Because I was like, am I going to choke? Is something going to happen? It kind of threw me into PTSD.
I mean, I've done that too.
Yeah, and it was crazy. And I was like so frustrated at myself because I never dealt with that. So it's like, what is going on? Like, you don't know what your mind is doing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, your mind is just like, I don't know. I think also when you get older, you realize that your mind is just talking like in your head. It's not real. Nothing in it is real. But yeah, no, that's definitely relatable because I struggle with that sometimes. I'm like, I won't eat today because I feel like I'm going to choke or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy because it never happened in that one incident. And then I had to do therapy. In my therapy, I had to talk about how, like, you know, in clear sight, look at it and be like, okay, this happened. It's like a form of PTSD. You're afraid it's going to happen again. It's not.
Is it? Like, is that what they said?
That's what she said. She was like, yeah, because like, I never had it before. So she was like, well, that happened. And now all of a sudden you're afraid it's going to happen again every time.
Right.
You know, but like you said, that's big on sobriety. The way I do sobriety, that like, it's control, and we do the opposite of control. It's like let everything go to God. Figure it'll be, sure. You know. The normal person, think about it. They eat. If they choke, they choke, but they're planning not to choke, and 90% chance they won't choke.
Yeah, you're not choking.
So it's all like, up there.
If you tell yourself you're done, or you can't, something will happen.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
And I like what you said about that. Not like what you said, but like the burning thing. That's interesting saying it to a drug addict because I never did anything like that, and I can totally relate.
No self-harm?
No, I mean, well. Not in that sense.
That was self-harm
different ways,
itself.
not
that,
for
sure.
But yeah, I mean, it's just amazing that I could relate. Never done anything close to that, and I could relate exactly to like the feelings you're saying. Like it's the same as for me smoking a crack pipe, doing a line, drinking a beer. Like I just had to ease back to here.
See, I've never done any of that.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I was both not try to do those things.
Yeah, absolutely not. No, it's not fun.
But I think that's what's so important is that like addiction goes in so many different faces, but it's the same exact thing.
Yeah.
It's like I need that ease.
But it's all control. Well, I don't know how it is for you, but like it's kind of like more careless on your end. You don't care about other people's feelings or anything. You're just like in tunnel vision to be careless. So we're more of like we care, but it wasn't attention seeking. It was more of like, this is what I'm going through. No one cares. Let me just do this. And then, you know, it wasn't like, oh my gosh. You know, a lot of people, when they bring up things, they'll be like, oh, well, I went through this, I went through that. And I'm just like, no one actively talks about those kinds of things. You know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't go somewhere and be like, oh, yeah, I do this drug like every single day. Like, it's not something you would boast about because it's part of your lifestyle. So it just became part of my lifestyle of like constant burning, eating, starving. So the longest I went was like, well, now fasting is like a thing. So like, which is like biblically speaking. But back then I was like, but like longest I went was like 24 days without eating. I was just chewing ice. And then I just became obsessed with it. And then after that I became like plant-based, and then stopped being plant-based and then overindulging, and it was just like a repetitive cycle until I'm here chilling. Like, give me a Big Mac, please. Like,
All right,
I'll eat it.
let's go.
more so pizza. Pizza's my thing.
Oh, that's my thing as well.
Yeah. Pizza and, I mean, I love fries. Who doesn't like fries?
Yeah.
But yeah. So it was just constant battles.
And we're happy you're here. At what point did things start to change, or what did you start to do to either get help or find the sobriety or away from those things?
It wasn't me being envious of other people, but like I was so caught up in my 20s being obsessed with body image, body dysmorphia. And I would see so many people, especially like women, doing like living by like I live by myself, but like doing well. Like they look good, they took care of themselves, and it was more of like, oh, I envy them. Like I want to feel like that. They probably don't struggle, but they probably do. They just handle it maturely. So it was just like, I don't know. I mean, definitely 2020 when I started gaining weight again after COVID. I mean, Bagel Man was the only place that was open. So I was there like every day. And then eating a bagel every single day, you're going to gain weight. And then probably, honestly, to be honest, I just kind of gave it to God later on in 2021 when I was just like tired of crying about how I looked and why I cared so much. And I realized that's not the path you need to be on, is overanalyzing, your hair, your body. Like, you can't change your shoe size, girl. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're made differently. And now, I'm cool. I'm chilling. So I'm excited for my life. But I wasted my 20s. I generally wasted my 20s. I mean, Did you waste your 20s?
I burned my 20s.
Burned them.
But I think, I wouldn't be here today. So
right.
I wouldn't know the things I know today.
That's a blessing in itself. So that's what I'm saying is like, you know what I mean? Like, if I did this with you, this podcast or not, whatever, like, I know that, like, when I see, I have a little sister, she's 14, she tells me how mean the people are at school. And, like, she gets picked on for being, like, having big lips. I'm like, okay, you were blessed by your mom. Like,
how is that? Because all the girls blow up their lips these days.
Right.
They look like dolls. That's crazy.
So I'm saying, like, it's a lose-win situation.
Win. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, unless you're wearing Lululemon to school nowadays, like, you're poor. Like, you know what I mean? Like, parents are struggling just to make sure their kid's not made fun of. Like, it's crazy. So, yeah.
So you can be a positive impact on other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully we'll start with my little sister. But in general, it's just like, don't waste your time fixating on things you can't change. And if you can change it for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I think that's so important. I mean, we go through those things, and that's what gives us knowledge today. And you were amazing back then. I knew Danielle. What was that? I was probably
from what I remember.
Yeah. What was that? 24 or something? So you were probably like 21.
Probably 21.
Around then, but like I always thought, to be honest, I don't think I've ever said this to you. Like, I dated your friend, and like,
hey, girl.
They were yeah. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
But you were always like my favorite. You always like, even though I didn't even know you were struggling back there, and you were just always mad cool. You're always mad welcoming. If people couldn't tell from this podcast, I was a piece of shit at that time, and like I never really heard it from you. You were always just like cool and welcoming and loving, and I appreciated that.
Yeah, there's definitely. It's very true. Happy people are always like, depressed for sure. But, it wasn't, it is what it is. Yeah. Now I say that. Back then, would have been crying.
Yeah.
Like anything hurt my feelings. So.
Well, I'm grateful we had you here today. I'm excited to see how the rest of your life unfolds.
Oh, for sure. Me too.
Absolutely. That's one thing I want to touch on before we do the last 3 questions. So you'd say today probably the biggest thing was faith for you, or was it support, or just kind of growing out of it? If someone's watching, struggling, like, how do I get out of this?
Definitely faith, I think. It wasn't until like 2020 when I moved back to Florida, because I was like, Florida's open during COVID. Let me just not be depressed and be in lockdown. And when I moved there, I got super which is like, this is off topic, but whatever. I got super suicidal. And I was like, oh my, like super. But it wasn't the point of like wanting to die. It's the point of like, you can't control your thoughts. But my sister, she just got saved, and gave her life to Christ. And then my mom, and they were like, just start, like, pray more. Like, stop living like worldly. And I don't know. I just like got mad and I was like talking, pep talks in the mirror. And I was like, I'm over it. I'm over stressing about BS. Obviously, it wasn't right then and there, but it was steps to get there. So, I definitely think like openly talking about struggling is definitely better than bottling it, because that's when you explode.
Love it. I mean, that's prayer is massive.
For sure.
Save my life. Faith. Any kind of faith, I think, is just life changing. I prayed just to stop smoking crack and drinking every day and doing dope, and then now we're sitting here. So it's like, and I have no obsession to do that. And I was talking about that last night. That it's just insane. I tried so hard to be a better person. Like every day, I'd be like, I'm not gonna drink. I'm not gonna do perks today, and I would end up doing it. And I started praying, and
but that's how the enemy works. You know what I mean? So like, once, because when my life's going good, I'm like, like to this day, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna say like my life's perfect, but sometimes I'm like, my life's going fine, and then it's like binge, gain weight, no one loves you, like, and I'm like, be quiet, you know what I mean? Like, just things are fine.
Yeah, and prayer has a lot of power to get you out of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that obsession's far from me now. I mean, there's times I have like, friends or people have drugs, alcohol around me, and it's like I'm good. Like,
yeah,
that's crazy for me that's what godly to me, because like I couldn't do that myself, so I could relate to that a lot.
Do you get confused sometimes on how you got to where you were?
Yeah, I try to explain. Me and my friend just had this conversation. Jay, probably, but we were talking. He's been sober a while, and we were just like, he runs a company. I have like multiple companies and stuff going on. We're like, and he was just like, dude, I'm proud of you. And I was like, dude, how did we get here? Like, we were thinking about things we used to do, and like
realization.
He's a project manager. Like, yeah, like we're running we're successful. We're sober. Our parents are happy with us. We help people. We're like I don't know. Yeah, that's why I just give it to God. People are like, oh, I'm proud of you. I'm like, I'm just grateful because I couldn't have done this myself for sure.
Absolutely not.
No. All right, so you ready for the 3 questions?
Oh no.
Yes, they're simple. Let's start with the quote. What's your number one favorite quote or saying?
Oh my God.
Even if it's a couple words, just something you would say to yourself or someone that's struggling. If I told you I was having a rough day, like what would you say?
Live, laugh, loving. That's literally what I say. You can ask anyone. I don't know why when people are like, how's your day going? I'm like, live, laugh, loving, man. Like, can't, or I'll just be like, I'm here. Like, your day's good? I'm here.
Sometimes that's all it is.
Yeah, and you could take your own reasoning behind that, but like, you're here, I'm here.
Yeah.
And we're here.
Let's do something with it. Absolutely. What if someone is going through like kind of your exact story and related a lot, and they're not sure like next steps, or they just need words of encouragement, what would you say to someone that reached out and like are really related to Danielle? What should I do?
Talk about it with people that don't enable you in that situation. Talk to people that don't have the desire to keep watching you do it, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not gonna, if I'm doing drugs and I'm trying to get sober, am I gonna call someone that's doing drugs? It's like, talk to someone that's been there, been through it, or like, a parent, or if you don't have a parent figure, like someone that's mature and has been through it. I love talking to older people. Just they're wiser, and like, parents used to say when I was, back in the day, yeah, I know. Now I know. So definitely talk to someone that actually cares to listen.
Absolutely. Yeah. And what is something that you are grateful for today?
Everything. No, probably my relationship with God. Yeah, my Bible.
Bible.
Yeah. So, because when in doubt, just read your Bible.
I'll give you some answers.
For sure.
I just started reading it. I mean, I went to CCD and all that growing up. I don't even remember half of it. And
absolutely not.
Go to church, but I was like, I want to like really read the Bible and study it. And it's been interesting.
Yeah. I'm rereading Proverbs right now. So It's good.
It's crazy how a couple old sayings, like you can relate to exactly what you're dealing with today. So it's incredible.
We're supernatural beings.
Yeah.
We're just in this, don't get me started on conspiracies.
We'll have to have a part 2.
I'll go crazy. But no, yeah, definitely my faith. I mean, I'm not baptized or anything, but I mean, as long as you have your faith, no one can be mad at you. It's like you see differently from other people once you allow God in your life. Yeah.
I like to leave it on that. Absolutely. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about or anything you missed or say to the camera?
No, I don't know.
Feel good?
I don't know what else there is to say. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
You're doing great.
Thank you. This is going to help a lot of people, and I appreciate you coming to
Absolutely.
tell your story.
You might see me a little blotchy red because I get nervous, but that's fine. You can't edit that.
You can't edit that, and it looks fine from here. The shades make it. I don't see any blush.
Oh, yeah.
You're
Well, you
good.
have the shades on.
Yeah.
I didn't wear mine, so.
No,
But
we
yeah.
appreciate you a lot. I know there's going to be a lot of people that relate to this a lot.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Danielle. Wish you the best. Hope
Same.
to keep in touch. Guys, thank you for listening to the Addictstruth podcast, Recovery Jon with Danielle. This episode is sponsored by Still Behavior Health and Still Mind. Reach out anytime if you are struggling and give us a like and a follow. God bless.